Hey guys, I'm Sarah. Every week I comb through hundreds of DIY videos preparing projects for our weekly maker show, Make or Break. Along the way, I find some good ones and some great ones, and right now, I'm gonna share them with you. This is Sarah's top 5 DIY Tensegrity Tables. Number 5 is H. Carpenter. This is one of the prettiest Tensegrity tables I have found so far. It is so simple and so complex at the same time. I love it. One of the reasons this one made it onto my list was that H. Carpenter used only hand tools for this build. Yes, that does take longer and definitely takes more patience, but the end result is stunning. Plus, watching the entire build while he uses hand tools is just so soothing. I really like that he chose a darker stain for this piece because it contrasts well with the bright chains. Plus, the glass top keeps this light and airy. Number 4 is Chemical 14. These are normally made from wooden materials, but what is the fun in always being like everyone else, am I right? Apparently, Owlet had the same thought and decided to take a stab at building a Tensegrity table of his own, but his is made from steel and glass. He used 3-inch square tubing for most of this build, but also some 1-inch threaded rods, and of course, chains for the sorcery part of the table. He cut all of the tubing pieces he needed and welded the frames for the top and the bottom of the table together. Next, he cut all of the rods down to size and welded the arms of the table to the frames and, of course, put it through a weight test. Once the arms were attached, it was time to add the chains for all 4 corners. Then it was on to assembly. Then Alan cleaned up all of the top welds and the corners and added the glass tabletop. Alan, this is sick. Number 3 is Greg's channel. Greg fell in love with the idea of a Tensegrity table so much he sold his dining room table to make room for this build. And I think he made the best choice because this is sweet. This was a fun video to watch, and even though he had a few issues along the way, he recovered from them quickly, and you would never know by the end result. Greg started by mapping out all of his cuts and angles for the arches he would need for this project. After cutting and routing the arches out, he moved on to the tabletop. He drilled the holes for the chains and added a supporting frame to the bottom. Next, he attached the arches to both ends and routed a beveled edge all around the table. He built these really pretty curved pieces for the bottom of the table and then slowly and carefully assembled the entire table. Once it was assembled, he slowly increased the tension on the chains until there was no more wobble. Number 2 is John Maliki. This is actually the second version of Mr. Maliki's Tensegrity table. In some cases, the sequel was not any good, but in this case, it only got bigger, badder, and better. His first table was made out of wood, and he wanted to beef up the design a little by using steel for the arms and the plates. Okay, so I have to ask, what is it about building something that draws you into doing a strength test? This is why women live longer than men. Now, after he safely climbed down, he added some detail to the metal arms and turned them into these fun geometric shapes, and in the end, he painted them orange. Next, he walks back into this secret room of treasures from the shop of Maliki and pulls out this gorgeous slab that already has bow tie details that he finished up and framed out with maple. He attached the wooden slabs to the bottom and the top metal plates, and next was assembling it all together with the metal roping. He had a couple issues with that, but he figured it out, and the final product is awesome. Number 1 is Xyla Foxen. This is the build that brought me to her channel for the first time ever, and I am hooked on her energy and creativity almost as much as I'm addicted to coffee, but not quite. Xyla put her own fun twist on a Tensegrity table using steam bent wood. She jumps into the project by building a little steam box and then adds her boards that need to be steamed. Once they were done, she pulled them out and clamped them to the mold that she made. When they were dry, she laminated them together. She did her own version of a strength test here and then filled in all of the gaps with epoxy and flour. Once she had the frame for the tabletop ready, she filled them with 2 different colors of epoxy, giving it this fun design. She installed the hardware for the base and then assembled the entire table. Look at this, it's so happy! Well, happy after a slight setback. She fixed it though, don't worry. Xyla, I am a huge fan of this. Alright guys, that's it. I hope you liked my list that I put together, but if you found a version of this project that you think should have made the list, leave it in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any of our shows that come out during the week. You can catch me every Friday at 5 p.m. for the next episode of Power Tool Week in Review with Rob, and every Saturday at 6 p.m. for our next episode of Make or Break. We'll see you then.